This video help is a supplemental for the new iTunes version, which will be sold on iTunes for this application. What I'm going to be doing in this supplemental is to cover just the supply manager, which is changed for the iTunes version. So let's take a look at what's going to be changed. If you click on this popover button, it brings up a screen, and you can see from the standard iPad version or the desktop, I've added some different stuff to this version. It's got a category, item list, item name rather, and status. And these are actual drop downs that are used inside the application now that were not present in the last version. And you can edit these. Now, what may happen on the iTunes version, these may be blanked out, meaning that when you purchase the iTunes version and put it onto your iPad, this list may not be there. The same thing goes for the item name, which I have a lot of them in here. You can see they're in there. Then on the status, it's the same situation. I put some statuses in here as samples. Now what you're going to be able to do is you're going to go into the category, for example, if you want to edit that list, because on the iPad you cannot edit the field. You're not able to do that because it's just a drop down or a popover. What you want to do is click on this and it brings up this screen. When you get to this screen, you're going to be editing in this field, but before you can edit, what you need to do is you go to the Do Action button and add a new record. For each record line that you want to add in this portal, you have to click and add a new record for each one. If you want to edit that line, if you click on Edit, you can edit whatever this field is up here. So if this came with all the items in it, you could go back through and you can change what you want and what you don't want to put in the records. Now, you do not want to duplicate each one of these over and over again. And let's give you the theory behind what a supply category is. A supply category is something that is a group for a group of items that would be sub-items in the item names. So for camping clothes, you may want to put in there in the other thing for the item names, like ski gear, with camping clothes being the category list. So all the items in that category, when you go back to the other screen, would be shown there. So let's go back and look at that. We go to the trip planning screen and pop this back up. You'll see that this is the category and those items that we saw there. And if you go over to the item name, let's go there and look. The item names are all the things that you may want to put as items. For example, these are just piece and parts and little things that you're going to be bringing, like food and whatever, that are under a particular category. So in this case, you can edit it again if you want to create or add it. And then the same thing is you go over here and add a new record, and that will assist you in adding all these items in here. Now, you don't add it directly in the row. That's not something you're going to be doing. You just add them and edit them up in here. So this is misspelled. So let's go over here, and this is also a good way to see how you correct things. You can go in and you can say change it, and now it is Band-Aids, and it's correctly spelled. If you click off of it, you'll see it updates it. Now, one of the things I also want to point out is that when you're adding items to this list and you want to remove them, make sure that you haven't already used them someplace in that list or that field. Because if you remove them from here, you're going to also be removing them from the list, and that's also going to cause problems because they're now orphaned and they don't have a parent list for them anymore. So once you start using something in the list, do not change it. If you want to make a slightly different one, add a new record and put that in there. Now these are sorted alphabetically for you, so everything's going to be in alphabetical order on all these lists. So let's go back again and we'll do the last one. Let's go back to trip planning, back into sales manager, and then we go into status. And status again still has its list of items. Now let's go into the status list. Now I just gave you a couple of things. You can put whatever you want in here, but a status example is if you have a line item where you've added the category, you've added the item name, and you've added the quantities and so forth in the list, and your status, you got to say, well, I'm low on that, I want to buy some more, or this item needs to be in cold storage, so I have to have an ice chest for it, or whatever, or refrigerator. Then you need to know that that thing requires a cold storage for that item. Damaged is a status where something got damaged and it might not be any good, and you may want to buy some more of that same item, or maybe it's a tire that's damaged and you have to replace it in service on the service record. So you have all these statuses that you can use that go into the supplies area. This is specifically for the supplies. And of course, like in the other ones, you can click up here and add a new record for each line element and edit them up here. Let's go back to the trip planner again. And I want to point out that when you're in the trip planner, this is specifically right now for the iTunes version. And that's the one that is being produced and being added to iTunes in the near term. So it should be in the next couple of weeks that it'll be on iTunes. The change is that the databases that were currently on iTunes are all going to be updated, 100% of them, to be able to run native on the iPad from the iTunes store. That way we'll be able to back them up and change them as changes come out and updates are made. You can get a new version of the application. Okay, if you have any questions, as usual, you can always contact me through the website. And how do you do that? You go up to Do Action, and you click down here, Visit Support, and that'll take you to the website, and you can either chat online or leave a message or email me whatever questions you might have. Thank you.